Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. I'm continuing in Siman Reish Nun Zayin, talking about laws of Hatmana, insulating. So let's say a person is dafina. So the Seif Bet over here says, Afilu tafshir shnipashil kol tzorko, even something that's already fully cooked. Asur la'atamin b'Shabbat afilu b'davar she'ena mosif hevel. We're not allowed on Shabbat to put something on top of it. Let's say like clothing or like a blanket or a towel to cover it. Even though this item, the towel, let's say, is not mostly hevel, it doesn't add heat, but rather it just is there to keep the heat, to retain the heat. You can't do that on Shabbat. If it was there before Shabbat, that's fine. You can keep it through Shabbat. We're going to talk about that further. But the Shulchan Aruch over here says, let's say on Shabbat itself, let's say I didn't cover my dafina, but a person, back in the day, maybe more common, and you're worried that there might be a mouse that could come in, or there might be dirt or whatever, so I want to cover my pot to make sure, not for the reason of insulating the heat, but so that nothing gets into it, and that's okay. You're allowed to cover the pot for that reason, because that's your intention, even if what you're covering it with is something that you normally cover it to insulate the heat, like, let's say, a towel or a blanket. So you could even use that if your intention is for a different other situation, that maybe I don't want something to go in or dust or things like that. Now, let's say it was already covered from before Shabbat. Now you go into Shabbat with your dafina already covered with some blankets. So then you're in a better situation. You already came into Shabbat with it already covered. So Seif Dalet tells us that if it was already covered, and then let's say it got uncovered, the kid took it off, someone took it off, you're allowed to now recover it. Because it came into Shabbat covered, you're allowed to recover it. And so too, if you even want to add to it, you want to make sure that it's insulated well. So you could add another towel on top or whatever it is. And so too, even if you want to switch, like this towel maybe got a little bit wet from something, so now I want to take it off and put a different towel on, that's also okay. Again, provided that you came into Shabbat with it already covered. But this is all if the dafina was already fully cooked. But if it's not fully cooked, then what happens is that when I'm adding another blanket or I'm switching blankets, then what's happening there is maybe it's going to cause the item to cook faster, to cook more, and therefore with now this heat that you're putting, so therefore you can't do that if the item's not fully cooked. But if it's fully cooked already, now we already said fully cooked is considered even a third cooked. Even if it's a third cooked coming into Shabbat, then you're already fine. So if you have it covered, then you could add a cover, remove a cover, and put another one on top, etc., and it's not going to be an issue. Okay, so we'll continue with these halachot, B'ezrat Hashem, next week and get to more practical situations. But this was definitely very practical for, like I said, the mothers, grandmothers, covering. Even till today, people cover their dafinas with towels and blankets, etc. Okay, that's that for today. Mincha tonight at 5:40. Even though it's getting a little earlier, next week's going to be much earlier because we're changing the clock Saturday night. So 5:40 is tonight. Mincha. Have a good day, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.